Okay, then let's give it a go.
Hello.
Back with Martin. Back
Yes.
to casting some tournament dual commander game from Darmstadt.
As you can see by the weird look of the table.
Is it that weird? I think it's quite...
Well, it's different. It's more contrast.
That's true. It's not our usual table. That's the quarterfinal. On the left side we have Thomas playing Slimefoot. On the right side there's Alexander playing Yoshi and Bruse. And let's get right into that. I think Thomas is on a mulligan to 6. He was on the play. And
It's 4 cards in his hand, right? At least, if they are not overlapping.
Is it?
Wait.
No, it's 5, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, pretty bad start.
Like now it's still 5. I think it was 5 then. Yeah, so it's a mulligan to 6.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, so 1 card was hidden. Turn 1 Yoshi.
Yeah.
That's not very surprising.
Absolutely. We see a Fatal Push, a Lightning Bolt, Seasoned Pyromancer Boseiju, and Sadistic Hypnotist.
Very good hand against Yoshi. Having 2 removals usually is enough to kind of stabilize the game with the mid-range deck. With control, you usually probably want 1 sweeper most of the time. But mid-range, you could just bolt and Fatal Push, and then you tempo that way. That's good enough.
So here we see the bolt for Yoshi, and there is a Boros Charm.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So, Thomas didn't draw the 3rd land to cast Slimefoot, but he's also not in a situation to do that because Yoshi is still on board.
Yeah.
I mean, he could also try to resolve Slimefoot. Unfortunately,
I think that would be fine, right? Because your opponent, the worst thing they can do is play some weird 3-drop, but none of them really clear the board, plus do something bad with Yoshi. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think so too. And then, Fatal Push always takes care of Yoshi, since it cares about CMC. So on a 3rd turn, it can't go that crazy, to be honest. There might be 1 legendary land, and at max, unless there are 3 legendary 1-drops in his hand, it will get another 2 power. And then there's 1 big swing. Thomas could decide to block with the token. But yeah, that's a bit rough here. So there's the snow-covered swamp.
It's very good.
Absolutely.
And now we can get out the commander.
Yeah, get some Suprolings going.
Yeah, this was a very slow start for Yoshi. I think Boros Charming on turn 2 is pretty mediocre. I think you usually want to play a 2-drop. Yoshi not the best deck at outvaluing.
There's a very good card against Slimefoot. So now there is...
So we have a small tempo lead, but now he's very low on cards. So now he needs a high impact card.
Now
really
there's a land.
And
it shows Shinka on the right side, but it's actually Hammerheim, so I mistook that one for the wrong legendary land.
Okay,
I think
legend on 4.
Hammerheim gives facing something with banding or facing. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, that's the card I was talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you need initiative. So now, because initiative is a fun mechanic, the game is already insanely hard in the Yoshi's player favor.
Yeah,
and
it's very hard for Thomas to get back the initiative next. So it's almost impossible unless he would have some flying hasty creatures. The only one that comes to my mind is Falconruff Aristocrat. And some lists play that. Some lists do.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Because it's also a sack outlet for Slimefoot.
Oh yeah.
So
true.
it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But that's basically, I think that's pretty much the only card that I have in mind right now that could get back the initiative. Yeah, so it's pretty sure that he gets another step for the dungeon next turn, and then there's either an even bigger Dungeoneer itself or a bigger Yoshi. But yeah, it's difficult to get around the Dungeoneer itself. And there's a Boseiju.
Just a recast.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hypnotist doesn't really do anything here. He has no double red to cast the Pyromancer. And the Green Sun Zenith for 4
it's not that
might be pretty limited in that situation. Unless, I mean, he could maybe steal it with Undermountain Adventurer, but you always lose it back to the Dungeoneer triggered ability, right? Because it has protection from creatures.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's... you need to stabilize the board first.
Yeah, I agree.
And... yeah, so now it kind of depends. Okay, so another land, that's good.
Yeah.
You don't really want to see another high impact card here.
Let's see.
You're laughing like you know what's coming.
Yeah, I'm a bit spoiled because I edited in advance, and I've also watched the match live. But it was very, very, very entertaining to watch. Both players playing on a.
Why were you not playing top 8? That's bad.
It's crazy that you have Pyrokinesis and Parallax Wave, and it's especially awkward because Thomas just played Boseiju as his land. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he would have played any other land just to keep it in the back and take care of Parallax Wave here. But that's a difficult situation.
Yeah. So if this board would have sticked, what is there? Is there like a Primeval Titan or something like that in Slimefoot? Like as a 6-drop to get with Green Sun Zenith?
You can have a look at the list. I'm not sure what are the targets for the Green Sun Zenith. Not sure.
You have Adventurer, you have a Thragtusk.
Yeah.
You have a Thrynax.
Yeah, Thrynax for the combo, I guess. So that would help here, but as we know the rest of his hand.
Yeah, there's no great target. There's a Morlock, but that's also not good.
That doesn't do that much here.
Yeah.
So the Explore trigger reveals a Stoneforge Mystic on top. There has to be a miracle,
yeah, he's basically at 3 lives, so killing 1 creature is not enough.
And we see a Minskenboo, but against the Parallax Wave, that's not enough.
Yeah.
So in this case, with Slimefoot being locked under the wave, even if he would go for the Adventurer with the Green Sun Zenith, he would still die to the board, basically.
Yeah, because you get the trigger on taking back the initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
You block 1, you take like 5 or 6. You take, at least 3, and then you're down.
And there's still no...
And there's still the wave, so you cannot block, so you're already dead to the attackers, right?
Right, yeah. That's what I was saying, yeah. So if you deny the trigger for the trap, so the third part of the left way, you still die to attack damage. Yeah. And he cannot cast the Seasoned Pyromancer lagging 1 red. So that seems to be game 2.
Yeah. Yeah, down to 5 is not great, but...
I think it was down to 6.
Down to 6 was still not great.
Yeah, and again, he's down to 6. But I think that's most often there are many shades of Slimefoot, and the deck can assemble many different ways of winning a game, and especially in a matchup like this where you face a tiny creature that gets very big very soon, it's important to have either a very powerful magic on your side, or, as Thomas had in the first game, try to keep some some interaction in order to get rid of the most annoying creatures.
Yeah.
And now
Dog
we have
into commander is very good though.
Yeah,
I like that.
Absolutely. And if we see his hand, there is a Broadside Bombardier, which is an MVP, especially in Slimefoot.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good card. There's Reanimate, Generous, End. So that's a combo by itself, just discarding the End and then getting him back on the field. And I think there is a Phyrexian Altar, the very last card on the left. And Minsk and Boo is looking at us at the corner.
So let's see what the true drop is.
Oh, not bad.
That's a very strong one.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think what Thomas is doing here is still stronger.
Yeah, I think so too. It was funny, like when the card came down, he was like, "Oh yeah, that does a lot of stuff, right?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. It adds a counter and it gives +2/+1 and ward, and that's it for 2 mana.
Yeah. No second body, no initiative,
No,
creature removal. So
a bit underpowered for 2 mana.
Thomas is pretty unbothered, I think, by this.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think you just take 4 here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can also go in with the
You can
scrolling,
jump. Yeah.
even if he gets rid of. But then it's a bit. Maybe he thinks about Fury or Pyrokinesis again. It's not bad if he gets rid of the bird. In addition, I'm also not sure if it's super necessary to keep this rolling here. But usually the first hit is fine, I think.
I think 15 is.
Yeah, I think so too. It really depends on what Thomas draws next. You can go for if he can find a land. I mean, he can definitely find a land with the End. And then he could go for the forest, or tiger in this case, I would assume. And then maybe play the Bombardier, attack with both creatures, and sacrifice... no, that wouldn't work, because this would require 1 mana to pay the ward cost from Yoshi. If you try to
shoot Yoshi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in this case, I think it's rather about just getting the End into the graveyard and reanimating it. And you have the food token, you can sack the food token, and you have like a very big body that blocks you almost all the cards. And there's also Skull Clamp, which can do a good job. So I think Thomas has quite a good setup here.
Yeah.
So both players coming from the Highlanders scene. Thomas is with us for some time now. Not sure about.
He's been playing for like 4 years, I think.
Duel Commander, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Highlander for ages, I think. At some point he was also part of the Highlander committee. And Alexander was also part of their community, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's actually a cool fetch or a cool search. Also interesting that he plays the Survey land, because now with the Reanimate in hand, he can play that first and see if there's even a better target from top. Could be a Fury or something similar. And yeah, I'm a bit surprised in a way that I would assume you would always like to play the least amount of tap lands here with these dork decks, but
Slimefoot is also not crazy deep into
Yeah.
the dorks.
Yeah, that's also true. And I mean, like, sometimes I think people overestimate the chance of really having your turn 1 dork into your turn 2 commander. So having a tapped land every now and then is fine, because I think the 2 mana slot is not heavily filled here.
Yeah. He's also only playing that one. So it's,
yeah. That's perfectly
It's a
fine.
singular one in 37 lands. So the odds of naturally drawing it are pretty low, and just having it as a target is very nice. Oh no, he's also playing the black and red one, sorry.
Okay. Cool. So there are...
Wait, so not the green?
And now
there is no green and black, right?
I've actually...
Oh, there is. Oh, sorry, he's playing all 3.
Okay, it's all good. I just realized that I showed a second wrong legendary land. This is Helm's Deep, so this is actually Shinka, I think. And I showed the Mines of Moria, but the deck is playing all of them, apparently. But the artworks look so similar. At least
Modern
these
magic.
two.
It's all confusing.
And all the thousands of artworks. So, yeah. I don't know about the background of Alexander. I know that he played, like Thomas told me, he played Highlander back in the days with those guys. I don't know how much he's into Duel Commander, if he plays that on a regular basis too. No infos regarding that, but both are playing very clean Magic, and it was super cool to watch them. So there's a Loyal Apprentice. Usually a good card, if it isn't for a 5/7 reach Tree Folk on the other side.
Yeah, I think usually this would be a very good board state, but there's just way too much stuff on Thomas' side.
Yeah, and I think even if it's very easy that the Skull Clamp runs away here with all the Saprolings and the card advantage. At some point, Thomas will find a way to handle the cards on board, especially with the flowering of the White Tree. Those additional tokens are pretty good, but not in that situation, I think. And if we look at his hand, at Thomas' hand, there is an altar in his hand, and he has the Birthing Pot. Currently no CMC2 target to pot into the Thrynex to make infinite tokens. Because that would be interesting right here if he would have an out for that. The combo right now would end up in infinite mana and infinitely getting back the end, so he could crack 1,000 food tokens to gain tons of life, and that would probably be the end for Yoshi. But he's a bit short on mana, and also, as I said, the CMC2 target is missing. But we have the Legacy all-time favorite. This card is nuts, man. It's
so stupid.
It is really stupid. Like, whenever, like, since this card is printed, whenever you talk to people playing Slimefoot, everyone's like, this card is insane. It's just insane. Ridiculously powerful. This could be a Modern Horizons 3 card, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe it's a teaser for that.
Okay,
what's
fair
coming
enough.
to us.
Yeah, fair enough. That could be a thing. We've already seen some cards. I was very happy to have old bordered fetch lands again.
Yeah, that's
so
very cool.
I can get my full Japanese collection without paying 5,000 euros for 5 lands.
Yeah,
because
it's nice to get them a little bit more affordable.
Yeah, the original ones are expensive as hell. Even if you go for the English ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we see an attack with Slimefoot and the goblins.
So
holding back the Tree Folk, and 3 Saprolings. Quite a good army, I would say. And I think at this point, he is, if there is no block at all, which would make sense, to be honest. I think he's 1 mana.
The end is
1
the end is
damage.
8 damage, right?
Yeah, exactly. If not like 6, 8, so he's at 14. Doesn't make any sense to sacrifice the Tree Folk now, but you can always sack away these Saprolings, especially if you have as many as Thomas has right now.
Yeah.
And just deal it.
Free 2 damage.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty nice.
Perfectly fine to get rid of the Apprentice or something like this. Still not getting around Yoshi's ward at that point.
Yeah, but I think here you're just going to kill the Apprentice, right?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine.
So dumb that it says any target.
Absolutely.
It feels like a card that goes face. Even then it would be pretty strong.
Yeah.
And it probably goes face a lot of the times, but yeah.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. Before this card was printed, I have to admit, I didn't really know how Boast actually functioned. Because there was not a single relevant card that had that ability.
I think I played the set, the original Kaltheim, is it right? It is.
Yes, true. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I played like 1 draft, so I think I played the mechanic there a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe looted some cards away or something. Whatever cards did back then with that mechanic. But yeah, never really went on a card that was actually strong.
I remember when I played in Prague one tournament, I played against a Queen Marchesa, and there is this black 3-drop that has a DT that puts the card on top. Okay. So basically a Vampiric Tutor. Like there was one situation.
And on Boast.
Yeah, exactly, on Boast. And I thought like, you have to attack, and when you attack, you have to pay the Boast cost. And only then. Yeah. But actually you can do it the whole turn. Which I realized when in this particular situation with the I don't know what creature type it is, but now for the Bombardiers it's much more relevant and people finally know how it works. So there is Inti, a new red legendary from Ixalan, makes its way into many decks. Yoshi, Yuri, mostly aggressive decks. I've also seen it in Slimefoot in some lists.
Yeah.
It's a good card.
Yeah, Trample is pretty nice with all the tokens that are running around currently in the format.
Yeah.
And it says until your next end step, so you can only play it this turn, but that's usually still fine.
Yeah, and there is a 7/5 attack with Yoshi. Is it? No, it's 7/6 actually.
Yeah.
And Thomas doesn't want to lose against any combat trick here or
a bold.
Getting a bold or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
So really making sure the dog is dying.
Back to the command zone.
And then we have the Topter and Inti. Inti also being a 4/3 with Ward 1.
Yeah.
And there's a 4/2 now with Ward 1. So the flowering of the white tree is really doing a good job in this matchup.
Yeah. A lot of blockers.
Yeah. And now Thomas,
is it enough?
We will see. Thomas has drawn a CMC2 target for the pot. I think he is 1 mana. No, he's actually no mana short. He could cast the altar for 3. He actually is a couple of mana short. But there's an attack.
Full outswing.
So from the Boros perspective, do you really want to, like, you don't really want to jump the Bombardier? It gives your opponent 2 cards, and you're losing both creatures, since he can boast one of those blockers post-combat, or not, like during combat before damage is dealt. So the Bombardier goes through, and now Thomas can just play the Birthing Pot and find a CMC4 target to
kill.
To kill, yeah, with the boast ability. And we even get to see a fancy target here. A card that
Get the initiative first.
He goes
Flame
for
Tongue
the
Kabu.
Flame
Oh no,
Tongue.
Flame Tongue Kabu would be dumb. Oh no.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's... Oh? Does
Because
he play
he
rules right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh, it gets counted. Yeah,
It's
it gets
counted.
only counted. Yeah, okay, right. It's... Wait.
He
Oh,
can,
yeah, because he sacrificed it.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter. Like he can go for any CMC4 target.
All right, you just... It's not, you cannot target it. It's,
Right.
It's not like... Isn't Ezio worded like that?
Ezio would go, because Ezio is only worded to spells.
Yeah, but Ezio is worded that you cannot target them, right? Unless you pay 3. It's not that you can target them, but it gets counted, right? That's the
Exactly.
difference in
Exactly.
one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in that case, I mean, he could have just roasted his own Suproling or something, right?
Yeah, right.
Now we have a mulligan in a third game from Yoshi. Starting
Yoshi on the play is usually pretty good. I see a
Yes.
bolt.
There is a lightning bolt again, right?
Is that a reanimate?
It's reanimate, and the end is back. There's also a Smuggler's Copter, Caves of the Chaos Adventure, and another land? I cannot tell.
You have better eyes than me. I only see the bolt and the marsh flats.
Caves is to the very left, I think. Is it a Muta Vault? I think it's a Muta Vault, the second land. Not sure.
The one on the back?
A third position from right. Behind
okay.
the end.
Okay. So we are going with the marsh flats.
Yeah, and I think Thomas has the information that there is some protection.
Yeah. I think you just have to be safe here.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, it doesn't even matter. Like the second card might be a land Mutavolt, but he also has the end to search for the forest, so he's in a good spot. I really love those 3 cycle creatures from Lord of the Rings. They add up perfectly fine to the deck. We see a Jitte on the other side. That's a card you don't see too often.
That's a throwback, yeah.
And now we have a powerful lineup. We have a Bayou into Reanimate on turn 2.
The end is back again.
Yes.
Yeah. These lines always feel so random in our format, sadly.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of... On the other hand, it's like, it's fine. It's like, that's like something that you would do in draft and be proud of.
Yeah.
And
correct.
In our format, it's not that insane, but it still always feels kind of bad because it's so random and so mediocre, but also very strong. So, especially in a mid-range matchup like this, where it's about board control. And playing turn 2 Jitte does not really help with that, unless you get to stick another creature, which will be very hard.
What if you have the perfect creature to go against that board.
That's a decent creature, but not the perfect one, I think.
That's probably true. I mean, Thomas has 3 lands now.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Mutavault, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's definitely not a basic land, so...
Yeah, exactly. So he can deal 3/5 damage. And there's the caves is actually very relevant. If he draws into the 4th land, he can get the initiative and search a basic.
Yeah.
Maybe searching for... Oh, does he have any interaction in hand? I think he has not.
So now, the question is, do you want the jitter counters? I think you might not even want them, right? You probably want, like, something on the board. Maybe you have a 2-drop.
It depends on your setup. So the copter cannot stop you right now. So the reason Felden appears here might be a bit too early, actually. That's why I say I'm not sure. Maybe Alexander had like a tunnel vision on something else, but I think like now he goes for combat, and then he realized like one of his creatures has haste.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not great.
That's not great, yeah. And also I think he has like a 4th land to equip the jitter or something like this. I'm not sure. So this was a bit of a blunder here.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. As long as Thomas gets his 4th land and he can get control over the initiative. Yeah, there's the Felden.
Yeah, but no 4th land. So, yeah. He missed 2 damage, which could be relevant.
True.
Thomas is would be down to 11.
And Thomas just drew Blood Moon. Also not the card you want to see in this situation.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Magus of the Moon is very well timed in this situation.
Ooh, and this is very strong.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy to have the free spell here. So he has the food token, which takes care of some damage. He also gets 5 life.
Yeah.
He's at 11, by the way, from the swing of Magos last turn. So he goes up to 19 again.
Then down to 15.
And now that I'm looking at his hand, there's a Gilded Goose, there's She-Oldred, Inquisition.
Just needs a land.
Yeah, he needs a land, and then there's another buddy that will do some stuff, but it really depends. Like, you gotta go for a swamp. She-Oldred costs like double. And that's finally the Mines of Moria. Hey, I got it.
Yeah, we did find it in the end.
Yeah. Third, how do you say?
Legendary red land?
No, it's I was going for a saying, but never mind.
Okay.
You're better with English sayings than I am.
And I cannot remember anything like that, so up to 15 again, 6 damage coming in. So with the jitter, it's not a 2-turn clock, but probably because has something. So
this
does not help.
By the way, a cool interaction here. We have the Blood Moon on board, but the lands still keep the super type being legendary. So Yoshi is still getting the triggers, and there's another one.
So
and that's again Hammerheim. It's not Shinka. I apologize. And here I think we can get to a situation in which we equip the jitter. And then he
Another
also...
3-drop. Oh, that's
Oh,
very
okay.
strong.
I actually also showed the wrong Talia. But
No. You
I
did.
I
Yeah,
did.
right.
It's
You did.
Heretic Qatar.
Yeah.
Maybe I will change this in the edit again. But now that I said I took the wrong Talia, the 3 mana one. With
You just wanted
strike.
to show this cool artwork, which is
which is quite cool. Killing an Eldrazi.
Yeah.
I think the 3 mana one is definitely better.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, even if he would have played the 2 mana Talia, I think it looks quite bad for Thomas. Here's the 4th land.
Oh, there is this.
It's
But
a
it's
tiger.
coming into play tapped.
Yeah.
And even if it would not save him because the creature would also enter tapped.
Yeah, right.
So, pretty bad beats.
Rough one, definitely.
Yeah.
Here, like the Magus perfectly timed.
Yeah.
And that's actually the odds Thomas was fighting against. Otherwise, this play would have been perfectly fine, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas played, I think, perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very unfortunate for him to losing the end and also not finding the 4th land to cast the Chaos Adventurer in time. I'm not super sure. I mean, Alex would have had to deal with another creature, but I'm not too sure if the additional basic land would have really helped him.
Yeah, he needed it on the turn where the board was still in an equal state. I think like once the Yoshi came down again, even like getting the initiative would have been not great.
Okay,
so thank you for watching
and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.